right, Acres of Diamonds community, welcome back. This is Daily Diamond number 11, and it's a follow-on to a podcast we just released, which was podcast number 10 with Chris Barilla. Chris Barilla is a nurse at Strong Memorial Hospital, and he talked to us about his experience with COVID, pre-COVID, during COVID, and post-COVID. And one of the things that they talked to co-founder DJ Ligori and me about was connection, and something that he clearly recognized has been an impact to. He works in the ICU as a nurse, and clearly there's been an impact to patients' ability to connect with family members.
It's severely limited. It's really restricted,
right?
You could say, which, because of the situation, we understand why it needs to be restricted. But I mean, solitary confinement is nothing for us to not take lightly, especially when you're sick in solitary confinement. Right. So we hit a little bit on how he is really that form of like a family connection, and the cool part about it is, he gets to take on this very important role of like a human being actually coming in to their room and showing them a little bit of life, a little bit of love. And so that kind of got us to thinking, connection is something that we are very important about, and something, that we really think can develop meaningful relationships in one's life. And I have an interesting story of how COVID-19 has actually increased the connection in my life.
Really? So
yeah.
Give me an example that you're thinking of.
So the example that came to my mind was a good friend of mine now, who wasn't a friend of mine a couple of weeks ago. She is now going through the Acres of Diamonds program. Her name is Taylor Lamanna, and we initially were planning on meeting in a public area in Starbucks. And as time went on,
which, given some of your background with women, is probably a great idea for other women to know. Keep DJ in public.
Keep me in a public area, so I have to be respectful and show my good side. And the more we talked about it, everything started to close. And so I actually, funny note, said, "Hey, we'll just meet in the drive-thru." And Taylor was like, "Sounds good, what time?" And then I said, "Well, how the hell are we going to meet in a drive-thru? What, are we going to sit in the drive-thru while people are trying to get their food?" But
Taylor, hopefully you'll come defend yourself on that comment.
She said someday. She just panicked and said, "Yes, sounds good, like what time?" But long story short, it forced us to meet at her house.
Oh, gotcha.
And what that did was, it's just me and her, and we totally open up to each other about how we connect with each week's topic. And talking about connection, because of COVID-19, I wouldn't be at her house doing those meetings. We would be at Starbucks in a public setting and possibly missing very important things that we may have not had the opportunity to say to other people. So because of that virus, it forced us to really get to know each other and to really connect. And in a weird way, thank you, COVID.
That is, I hadn't thought too much about that. So we, most of the coaching, the Acres of Diamonds coaching you've done has been in public places. And it's gone well.
It's gone very well.
It's gone very well.
And I have nothing to complain about it.
At the same time, now you have a whole new appreciation for connection relative to doing it in a more focused arena. Is that?
Yes. I mean, you think about it, if you're in a coffee shop, there's noises, there's other people.
Yeah.
Now I'm fortunate enough to, as my father says, sit at the heart of the home. Sit at a kitchen table and just talk to someone about whatever module we are talking about for that day. And we both feel much more comfortable opening up, maybe talking about something that we might have never talked about before with somebody else.
Well, that's a good point. So how often in your training or in your coaching, does it get emotional? Like how often are there near tears, or at least, I know that's not about your client, but about you.
About me?
How often do you get a little emotional?
I get emotional. And I will, for people who know me, like, I'll be honest with you, I'll admit it, I cry. And I could care less if you think that's tough or if you don't think that's tough. But with the people who I've gone through the program with, when we are developing these connections,
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking about stories that we may never tell other people in our life.
Right.
I mean, stories about family members, stories about them, feelings of their greatest failures, their greatest successes, things that they're extremely happy about, things that they're extremely mad about. And it's not easy to say that or and to talk about these things, but what we end up realizing is because of those moments, it led you to right where you are right now.
Right.
And because of those moments, it created who you are. And this kind of connects, no pun intended, to culture.
Yeah.
Our other, that's another one of our modules that we're very passionate about. And those stories and those moments, they make you who you are. And I think it's important to be okay with that and to not want to change them, no matter what the outcome was.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I think we're both seeing that over and over and over again in the things that we're doing these days.
Yes.
The more authentic and transparent you can be about who you are and what you believe, the more attractive it is to other people.
Yeah. And because of that authenticity, in the home of Taylor and I, we tell each other stuff that is awesome. And it's raw, and we learn a lot in those couple hours we have together. So thank you. And to wrap it up, thank you, COVID-19, for forcing me to start to realize maybe a public area isn't the greatest time right now. Maybe we need to even get more connected than we were before.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's about time you go rent us an office so we can do
I
that.
know, yeah. Coming soon.
All right. Thank you very much, Acres of Diamonds audience. This concludes Daily Diamond number 11. We appreciate it. Have a good week.
All right, thank you guys.